Have you ever wondered why you stop yourself from doing the things you truly want? Why does your mind whisper, "You can't," right when you're about to take a step forward? What if I told you that the door you think is locked was never even closed? There was a boy named Daniel who lived in a small village at the edge of a forest. Daniel was bright, curious, and full of dreams. As a child, he would look up at the stars and imagine himself traveling the world, building things, helping people. But as he grew older, something changed. Every time Daniel thought about trying something new, learning to paint, starting a small business, talking to someone he admired, a voice inside his head would stop him. "You're not good enough. What if you fail? People will laugh at you." So Daniel stayed small. He worked a simple job. He lived a quiet life. He never chased his dreams. And deep down, he felt a heaviness in his chest, a sadness he couldn't explain. Everyone in the village thought Daniel was just shy, but Daniel knew the truth. He wasn't shy. He was afraid of a door he believed he could never open. When Daniel was 7 years old, something happened that changed everything. One day, his teacher gave the class an art project. Daniel loved drawing, and he poured his heart into a painting of the forest near his home. He was so proud of it. But when he showed it to his classmates, 2 boys laughed. They pointed at his painting and said, "That looks terrible. You're bad at this." The teacher didn't say anything. The other kids didn't defend him. Daniel felt his face turn red. He felt small. He felt wrong. From that day on, Daniel stopped drawing. He stopped sharing his ideas. He stopped raising his hand in class. He built a wall around himself. And in his mind, a door appeared, a heavy wooden door with a big iron lock. Behind that door were all his dreams, his talents, his true self. But Daniel believed the door was locked, and he didn't have the key. Years passed. Daniel became an adult, but the pattern continued. Every time an opportunity came, a chance to speak in front of people, a job that excited him, a person who made him feel alive, Daniel would reach for the door in his mind. And every time, he would see the lock. He would feel the fear, and he would turn away. "I can't. It's locked. I'm not meant for this." He sabotaged himself over and over. He said no to life. He stayed in his safe, small world, and the sadness grew heavier. One autumn evening, Daniel was walking through the forest. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold. He sat down beneath an old oak tree, feeling tired, not in his body, but in his soul. That's when he saw her. An old woman was sitting nearby, feeding birds from her hand. She had kind eyes and a calm smile. She looked at Daniel and said, "You carry a heavy weight, don't you?" Daniel nodded. The woman patted the ground beside her. "Sit. Tell me what troubles you." Daniel hesitated, but something about her made him feel safe. So he sat, and for the first time in years, he spoke the truth. "I feel trapped," he said quietly. "There's a door in my mind, and it's locked. Behind it is everything I want to be, everything I want to do. But I can't open it. I don't have the key." The old woman listened. Then she smiled gently. "Tell me, Daniel, have you ever tried to open the door?" He shook his head. "No, it's locked. I know it is."
"But how do you know?" she asked. Daniel frowned. Because it has to be. I've failed before. I've been hurt before. The door is locked because I'm not good enough to open it." The woman tilted her head. "Or perhaps," she said softly, "the door was never locked at all." Daniel stared at her. "What if," the woman continued, "the lock you see is only in your mind? What if you've been standing in front of an open door your whole life, but you were too afraid to push it? Her words hit him like a wave. Sometimes, she said, we create our own prisons. We tell ourselves stories about who we are, what we deserve, what we're capable of. And we believe those stories so deeply that we forget they're just stories. She stood up slowly, brushing the leaves from her dress. The door, Daniel, is not locked. It never was. You just have to be brave enough to touch it. And with that, she walked away into the trees, leaving Daniel alone with his thoughts. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. The woman's words echoed in his mind. What if the door was never locked? He closed his eyes and imagined the door again, the heavy wood, the iron lock. He had stared at it for so long, believing it was real. But now, for the first time, he asked himself, what if I'm wrong? Slowly, in his mind, Daniel reached out. His hand touched the cold metal of the lock. His heart pounded. And then he pushed. The door swung open. There was no lock. There had never been a lock. It was just a door, and behind it was light, warm, golden light. The next morning, Daniel made a decision. He signed up for a painting class, the first time he'd held a brush in 20 years. His hands shook. His mind screamed at him to stop, but he didn't listen. He painted. It wasn't perfect, but it was his. Then he applied for a job he'd always dreamed of. He didn't know if he'd get it, but he tried. He spoke up in a meeting. He talked to someone who intimidated him. Each time, the fear was there. The voice in his head still whispered, "You can't." But now, Daniel knew the truth. The door was never locked. The prison was never real. It was only fear disguised as fact. Daniel's story teaches us something powerful. Your mind will sabotage you. It will tell you you can't. It will show you locked doors, high walls, impossible mountains. But most of the time, those barriers don't exist. They are illusions. They are stories you told yourself when you were hurt, when you were young, when you didn't know better. You believed them so deeply that they became your reality. But here's the truth. The door was never locked. The things you want, the dreams you've buried, the life you've been too afraid to live, they're not out of reach. You've just been standing in front of an open door, too scared to push. So let me ask you this. What door are you staring at right now? What story are you telling yourself about why you can't move forward? Maybe you think you're not smart enough, not talented enough, not worthy enough. But what if you're wrong? What if the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the belief you can't have it? Today, I want you to do something. Close your eyes.